Hi everyone, it's Promise Aderano again. It's been a while. I've been meaning to say this for some time now, and I think it's about time that it gets said. Sometimes when I look at Africa, look at Europe, compare what's going on there and what's going on here, it saddens my heart because I feel like we're not learning what we should learn. And although some people have tried to do this in the past, some African leaders that are Pan-African, like Gaddafi, Mugabe, and the rest of them, they are not here anymore. But it's quite important that this is said because oftentimes, you hear about African organizations like AU or AOU and ECOWAS and a few others. You wonder what is the objective of all these groups. What have they achieved for Africa? You see, a lot of people have said it, including Dangote himself, that access within Africa is a bit difficult. And these are things that Europe intentionally did for Europe. These are things that the Americans probably have, which is access between countries. How do countries, trade between themselves? Because at the end of the day, you got to look at, continents as business partners, so to speak. You know, you should be able to go holiday once a year. And for those in Nigeria, for example, I don't know why people prefer to fly to other continents, Europe, America, for holidays, like summer holidays, when you've not even gone anywhere in Africa. You've not toured Africa. Now, who are you expecting to sort of bring the tourist money or bring the holiday money to Africa, if not you, Africans? Are you expecting the whites to fly from their continent, America, to Africa to come for holidays? Are you expecting the Europeans to leave Europe and come for? I mean, there is nothing in all these holiday places or destinations that are not in Africa. We have Seychelles, we have Cape Verde, we have even South Africa. We have a lot of beautiful places in Africa, lovely weather, that actually supposed to be the main destination, worldwide, globally. I mean, there are a few European countries that are close to Africa that are quite hot, but Africa is supposed to be the main destination hub for holidays, for tourism. Of course, there are some security issues and all of that. But you look at how Europe have sort of built a formidable and a good relationship, between England and France, or between the UK and France. There's a big ocean. But what did they do? In the Channel, they were able to build tunnels, connect trains between France and England to make sure it is easy for you to transport. So for you to be in Paris, it's just 2 hours from London. So it is intentional. It's that channel is a lot of money. And now that train system is beginning to come into Nigeria, well done to Buhari for achieving that. The Chinese are building trains in Ogun State as I hear. These are things we're supposed to invest in. Sometimes I ask myself, why don't the federal government of Nigeria review some of the things they did? These rail lines that we are building across Nigeria was a lot of capital investment. How much is being realized from that capital investment? Because these are things that if we look at and we are reviewing enough money, then we look at how to even do more. Well done to Lagos State. They have red line, blue line, and they're trying to build another line, which is good, because you have to think about transportation as one of the biggest sources of income in the world, whether it is air, by flight, by land, like by road, by water. These are how monies are made. People will always have places to go. People want to be moving about. That is human beings for you. So what is stopping Nigeria being connected by train? The only country that Nigeria is connected to by railway is Niger. That Buhari did, right? Because Niger is landlocked, and sometimes they need to move their containers from Nigeria, to sort of go to the outside world. So fair point, we are connected to Niger, but we need to be connected to every African country. So, for example, if you want to travel from Italy to UK to England, you can go by road. All these things are connected. And what you see in the UK, the level of service, the level of roads is what is expected in most of the EU countries, because they came together, intentionally developed a common currency, apart from the UK and probably a few other places that kept their money, Turkey and a few other places. But they majorly used the euro, or the euro, and also they made sure that if you move from one country to the other, you will probably see supermarkets, you will get the same level of service. It is just similar. And that allowed the whole continent to be growing. Now, in Africa, first of all, Mugabe tried, or Gaddafi tried to sort of have a common currency. But we are still meddling about, because think of it, how rich Africa is, how rich Congo is. If we could, Tinubu is the president of Nigeria and also the chairman of ECOWAS. If we have somebody who has foresight that could do these things are things we're supposed to be speaking to. Do you understand? Africans are so rich, the whole world actually depend on Africa in terms of the resources from Africa. So why can't we have that interconnectivity, free movement within Africa? What does our passport allow you? Our ECOWAS passport, does it allow you access to how many? If Dangote still needs to be applying for visas to go from Nigeria to Kenya, for example, I think Kenya now have given visa free to some African countries. That's what we expect Nigeria to do. That's what we expect Ghana to do. That's what we expect South Africa to do, especially these big economies, Egypt, Ethiopia. We need to do it. And again, sensationalize the people to go holidays in these places. Advertise holidays in Nigeria, in African countries, and also advertise holidays in South Africa, in Nigerian TVs, nationals, and all of that. Let people start thinking. That's why, for example, a lot of people that I know went to France for holiday this year. Last year, we had a lot of Americans here. British people like to go on holidays. Almost every British family at least one holiday in a year. Do you understand? These are markets you can key into. Malta, there are a lot of countries that just depend on tourism and they survive. Big market, big markets. People spend a lot of money when they go on holidays. So what I'm trying to say is that our celebrities, make it the Ministry of Tourism in Nigeria, I don't even know what they do. I don't even understand the Ministry of Tourism in Nigeria, because at the end of the day, you need to partner with all these influencers, all these celebrities, tell them to go to holidays in African countries. Not every time America, not every time Canada, not every time Australia. Don't feel too big because you can go to all those places. We have to be intentional about developing Africa. We have to be intentional. And at the same time, policies are very, very important. Flying to China and signing a deal with them is fantastic. Flying to America and signing a deal with them is fantastic. Having a good relationship and bilateral trade, the bilateral trade between UK and Nigeria is about £7 billion, right? But out of that, 4 billion is from the UK and then 3 billion from Nigeria. But we can gain more just from tourism in Africa. Allow Nigerians are everywhere in Africa anyway. Nigerians are everywhere. So allow that free movement. Let people be able to go to Cotonou. Of course, I'm not saying make your borders porous, no. But come to an agreement whereby people that have money, somebody like Dangote does not need to be applying for visas if Nigeria is really the giant of Africa. If you have American passport, you go to anywhere you want to go. These are things that we are supposed to fight for. Our Foreign Affairs Commission and all the rest supposed to fight for. We need to have a unified currency. All of us anyway in Africa, our economies are not even strong. So now that we are all in mess, so to speak, economy-wise, come and agree a common currency. Agree a common currency, back it up with brisk if you want. South Africa is in brisk. A lot of African countries are still getting invited. That's the new thing to join. Although I intentionally did not want Nigeria to join brisk, because you can't be owing one bank and going to join another bank. The best thing to do is probably borrow from the other bank, pay up your debt in one bank, and then go. So I would rather Nigeria pay up all the old IMF before joining brisk, which is entirely different because they are competition to America, right? But at the same time, we need to agree, to even use our minerals or whatever to back or find a common ground, find a way Even when the UK was part of EU, they kept their pounds. So even if we have to keep our naira, but let majority of the African countries come to a common currency to allow the exchange rates and everything, and then allow people, sensitize everybody in Africa to start going holidays in Africa. Go to Seychelles, go to Cape Verde, go to Ethiopia, go to Morocco. These places, I've seen pictures of people who went to all these places, and they are lovely. Let us grow Africa intentionally. It is Africans that are supposed to be going on holiday to Africa, not, I don't know who else is going to go on holiday. And these things even start from our politicians. If they want to travel, everybody, Dubai. Even Dubai is chasing you away. Develop the culture of when you want to go on holiday as a senator, carry your family to another African country. Or they go these places. Yes, they come to Africa, but we Africans are supposed to be intentional and then find a way to build fast trains that will connect Ghana, Nigeria. Fast train railway, let it be funded by the both countries, 50-50 or whatever. Let the both countries come and finance. We need a fast railway that will connect South Africa to Nigeria. Have a checkpoint at the middle whereby the both countries can have their customs check for your passport and what have you. Make free movement easy for Africa. Learn from what Americans are doing. Learn from what EU are doing. These are intentional ways countries can help countries to grow, and no man is an island. That said, I just want to touch on something else as well. There's something that I have not really understood that Tinubu is doing. But from all indications, from what I can get from the news, I think it's a very genius idea. I've touched on it before, and I want to touch a little bit on it again before I end this video. And that is the vacuum that some of these IOCs are creating when they leave Nigeria. And a lot of them are leaving ExxonMobil, Ajip Oil, some of them for whatever reason. I mean, Soludo said there is no money coming from oil. But at the same time, we have to understand that if we really want, we can even drill more. Now, for people who don't understand how the oil system works, there are 3 tiers of oil production. There is upstream, there is midstream, and there is downstream. So what Dangote have is downstream, how the processed crude gets to the market. The upstream is the IOCs, international oil companies, right? Which are the foreign, these are the Shells, the BP, the what have you, which is where Tinubu has now getting into as the Jagaban. He's gotten into by Orlando, buying over Ajib. Shell is leaving their assets. I believe I saw a news that Shell is also selling their drilling company out. That's a major one. If Nigerians can own drilling of their crude, it's a very big feat. And Tinubu is getting into it. This is one thing I'm saying, that this is a genius step. But again, will it be in the interest of Nigeria? That's a different question on entirely. But at least let a Nigerian own that drilling of oil that IOCs are, Now, the midstream is owned by NNPC, right? NNPC own all the pipelines. If you want gas to Geometric, if you want crude to Dangote Refinery, you rely on NNPC, right? So that one is owned by Nigeria. Then the downstream, which is what we have suffered by going to other countries to import and bring back. Now we have Dangote on stream. Fantastic. We are getting there. So by the time Nigerians own these 3 different tiers of oil production, we are good. And that's what I'm saying, that is something genius that Tinubu might be getting at. But again, if Orlando starts drilling, or take over the company that drills our crude, and of course NNPC is already ours, and Dangote is processing it, which are all Nigerian, should we still be having fuel scarcity and buying fuel at 1,200? Or are Nigerians even more greedy than the foreigners that are IOCs? So these are the questions we need to ask. But these are the things I want to say out there. I've been thinking a lot, looking at what the situation is, watching Edo politics closely. Nigerians need to manage that. The government need to manage that. Otherwise, if Edo goes to fire, Nigerians are already on the edge. So we don't want Nigeria to boil down. So thank you. I try to do these videos weekly these days because, Nigeria is just a lot of depressing news, So thank you for having me. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.